Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the December 21st, 2021 EDIC meeting. It is being conducted remotely, and a recording will be made available via Easthampton Media. Okay. Y'all, we do not have November meeting minutes to review. We do have ones from October. We did not have enough people at our last meeting to approve them. Have people had a chance to review the October ones, which I'm sorry, I probably didn't attach to any recent email?
So I attached them right after the meeting.
Thank you. Yes, you did.
I sent you, Glenn, I just forwarded them to you, but Josh is out today. I should inform to everybody because.
Nice work.
Thank you. But you can.
If folks have had a chance to review them, though, do you want to take some time to review them and then vote, or do we want to assume that people have had a chance? Okay. Do we hear a motion?
I motion.
Okay, I second it.
Fantastic. So, folks, any further discussion before we approve the October meeting minutes?
Nope.
Hearing none. All in favor of approving the October, don't remember what date, might have been the 15th
19.
minutes.
19.
19, thank you.
Yep.
Holler aye. Okay, I'm seeing hands. Very good, very good. Okay, so moved, so approved, and we will approve the November and December ones in January.
Well, actually, did I not send the November ones out? November 3rd ones?
I don't think that you were at that one.
Oh, was there a second meeting in November?
That one didn't happen, but the November 3rd one, the emergency meeting, the extra one, did happen, and I took notes for that.
I don't think we need to approve those.
Okay.
Right? Do we? I don't know the answer.
They're there, but I guess
they're irregular meeting minutes.
Okay.
You mean the 11/16 to clarify?
No,
there was a meeting on 11/3 as well. But
the 11/16 was not held because we didn't have a quorum. The 11/3 we did have, but that was a special meeting. There were notes taken for that and sent out, but if we don't need to approve them, it's a moot point.
Meetings in November? Wow, what is it like to remember things?
I've got meeting notes from the 16th.
Right, so let's get those together, Cassie, to the extent that we can do that, and we'll,
okay.
The people who were available, well, if we didn't have a quorum.
There were 5 people there.
Yeah, I think we did have a quorum. We had a meeting.
We didn't have a quorum, that's why we didn't approve the October minutes, which we just did. But we did have a meeting, and so...
If you didn't have a quorum, you didn't have a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that the meeting that lasted 5 minutes?
Yeah.
But the November 3rd meeting, Gwen, was that posted as an official meeting? Or was that just a meeting that we held to continue the conversation about the vacant storefront property?
That's a good point. If it wasn't posted, it probably wasn't an official meeting. We don't need to.
My notes from the 16th say October minutes, both regularly scheduled and interstitial, who had that word, were tabled to the December meeting.
Yeah. So I think that we posted meetings.
Of course, now that I say that, Gwen, if there was a quorum there, then at that special meeting, then it has to be an official meeting. Otherwise, we were meeting illegally.
I'm going to go look.
Under open meeting law, if we had a quorum, then we had a meeting.
There was a posted meeting for the 3rd. There was an official agenda.
Yep.
Are we talking about the meeting in which we agreed to send something off to ordinance committee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yep.
We met and we didn't make a quorum, if memory serves. So we didn't really meet.
I'm pulling it up to see if I'm pulling up the minutes. If I listed who was there, then I did. So me, Gwen, myself, Chris, Tom, and Cassie.
That's a quorum from November 3rd.
Okay.
How many people do you need for a quorum?
5.
Five. So I believe we should approve the minutes of November 3rd.
I think that we have sleuthed this and we've put it together, and I agree. Would anyone like to move that we approve the November 3rd minutes?
I move.
A second.
Second. Third.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I need to abstain.
That's fine. Thanks, Mo.
I also abstain.
Okay, so people who were at the November 3rd meeting, all in favor, holler aye to approve the November 3rd minutes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Whew. We just did some good work.
Who did we have a quorum? I think we have a quorum on the 16th. Did we figure that out? Cassie, do you
No,
know?
there were only 5 people there.
That's a quorum, though.
Oh, duh.
I
thought there were only 4 people there.
I've only been 4.
I have Paul, Casey, Mo, Gwyn, me.
I thought there were 5. If Casey was there.
Huh.
Casey, do you recall?
Because I think when I showed up, you guys said, oh, we were about to not have the meeting because we didn't have a quorum, but now that you're here, we do.
Right.
Well,
And it was a lovely meeting.
there. Did anyone else take minutes? You took minutes, Cassie, right?
Yeah,
Did you send them out to everyone?
No,
that's where I'm pleading guilty. No.
it's okay. It's really okay.
It was a very vivid and stimulating conversation.
I have
Clearly.
copious notes.
Oh, good.
Okay. Casey, did you want to say something?
No. But now that Paul mentioned that, I remember that meeting. I told you I ran into Salem Derby on the ordinance committee, that he was going forward with the idea. He liked the idea. I also emailed you earlier this week. I mean, getting into details. Saw the photographer from the Gazette taking pictures of the storefronts. So apparently there's going to be an article in the Gazette about the storefronts.
There sure is.
So
Okay,
I remember
we'll
those.
get to that.
I remember those 2 things.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some November 16th meeting minutes to approve in January.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. It's truly okay. I don't even remember having a November 3rd meeting, so great. I did read the minutes that day and went, great, this seems right. Okay. Public speak. There's no one here from the public. Is there anything that's not on today's agenda that anyone would like to add to today's agenda?
I'm not sure the vacant storefront discussion is on there or even needs to be, but follow up on what Casey just mentioned about the Gazette. I guess I wasn't aware that this whole process had gone that public yet.
Right. So let's lead with that then, because I agree that that should be on there. So the ordinance committee is taking it on. They, and that's been part of their planned discussions. There was an opportunity for a Gazette reporter to talk to Jeff Bagg and to me, because there was conversation, though minimal, at the ordinance committee in November about it. And she's been working on that article for several weeks, and it is forthcoming. We worked with her to ensure that it would not necessarily, that it would not come out before letters to property owners went out. So those have gone out to property owners.
The only reason it hit my radar screen, Gwen, is that apparently the Gazette called some of the owners of empty storefronts for comment about an ordinance
kidding
that they didn't know anything about.
Yeah, that sounds like, I'm sure that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have anything else to share about that? Or Mo, or anybody?
No, but I mean, I think as soon as we put a letter out into the world, you have to assume that it's going to go public, and you have to assume that there's going to be some discussion about it. And I think also too, it's not surprising that some business or property owners were, even though they got a letter were unawares.
I don't think they got the letter yet.
Did you get your letter yet, Mo?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Also, the letters did go out.
Yep.
They did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. So that's moving, however slowly. The ordinance committee may or may not be in touch with us about that, etc. Yeah, as it continues to show up, I think their next planned conversation about it is not till late January, though. So we'll see.
Tom, can you say a bit about what you heard from the folks that called you?
They just wanted to know what I knew about the ordinance. What did I, apparently, I don't remember now how much detail the letter had, but they were asking about process, about fees, about whatever, specifics that I had said, hold on, wait for more information, because as this thing makes its way through ordinance, it may come back looking totally different as we propose. So I really couldn't give them any specifics other than a general overview that this is not intended to be punitive. It's intended to incentivize businesses to try to get their storefronts rented. I used, what was the town we heard from, Arlington?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used Arlington as an example where they had like 17 vacant storefronts. They put this in place, and a year later or so, they had, I don't know, 3 or 4, something like that. So the point is it works. We're not the only place looking into it. Northampton's looking into it. So I just told them to stay tuned, and they would definitely get more details once the ordinance was a little more firmed up.
Good, that's right, because the letter intentionally did not have the entire outline, because who wants to be like, and this is what it'll be, when we have no control over that?
Exactly.
Mo.
So within the body of the letter, Paul, and I don't have it in front of me, but wasn't there some direction if folks have questions for whom they should call, and there was a number included, wasn't there?
I think, well, it directed them to
Come to this meeting.
Easthampton website to find EDIC agenda, so they'd know when they could come and talk to EDIC.
I think that might be like, as we're moving forward as a collective body, that's what when people do call us individually, that we make that suggestion, and so they can come and be a part of
the public speak would be
rather
great.
than trying to answer those or satisfy questions over the phone,
I think
and then just kind of getting wandering off someplace else.
Right. This person, I don't believe it's seen the letter. That's not our fault, but they hadn't seen the letter. What prompted the call was the call from the Gazette asking about this ordinance. So it was my impression that was the first they were hearing of it, was the call from the Gazette.
I assume the Gazette only figured they got their own list of vacant properties, right? None of us gave. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Somebody calls you because they know you, and they're like, "Hey, what's this about that you're talking about an EDIC?" Yeah, we should obviously be informative. Everything's out here in public information as it is.
Right. There's nothing to hide.
No, but the goal is to get them to come to the meeting so we can have that discussion.
Yeah, that's my source. But Gwen, while we're on that, I'm not sure if everyone's aware of the Hurry and Scurry building.
Yeah.
Yep, we can update people on that too. The owners of the Hurry and Scurry property have put forward a proposal many months ago that has finally made its way to the point of going before the planning board to tear it down and build a 2-floor, I think 2 retail spaces on the bottom floor and 2 apartments on the second floor establishment that looks pretty good from the plans. I went to that meeting and looked at them and offered EDIC's support. I did not request all of your input beforehand because I think all of us would have been on board with, hey, less hurry and scurry, more get it out of here and make something pretty.
But where are we going to have a new landmark to point to now?
Chris, we have plenty.
Next door to Casey, it would be the Moriarty Building.
Yeah.
New mascot.
Gwen, I'm sorry, you said it was 1 first floor retail, 2 residential?
Yes.
And it's 2 stories, not 3?
Correct.
Cool.
Yep.
When while
Yeah.
we're wandering a little bit, I don't know if everyone saw the nice, cute new for sale sign that went up in front of the massage school.
Oh, I drive by that every day.
I didn't see that.
Memorial
Oh,
Hall.
that massage school. Okay, not the one on 141. Sorry.
Memorial
No,
Hall.
that's the massage Chopin. Yeah, that's great. It's very exciting. Anything else that we should throw on this agenda? Okay. You'll notice that Jeff Bagg has not joined us. He has a childcare issue today, but he did send me a message of things he would like me to share with you. So I will read to you the following. On wayfinding, Jeff had to have the consultant wrap up the current phase as he was out of funds, and the project hit a lull while the local rapid recovery plan was taking place, both ours in Easthampton and the other 7 that his firm was working on. He attached a copy of the report, which I can forward to all of you. We did apply for an additional $25,000 to continue to advance this project in the spring, possibly with a new consultant. So to refresh your memories, the wayfinding project was where we were identifying what kind of iconography and color scheme and signage, what do we want to point to, where do we want to put that signage to tell people where cool stuff is in the primary business districts of Easthampton. And so we originally got, I think it was $25,000 in the first place to cover some of the consulting fees to do that design work. So it's not for the signage itself, it's for the design process. On local rapid recovery, which involved working with an organization out of Rochester, New York, the consultant provided us with a final copy of the report. Is that also attached here? Yes, it is. I'll forward that to you as well. It was submitted to the state. That's now an additional plan that we can refer to when we're applying for certain grants. And was it just last week? I think so. For the, there's been a proposal by Tom Peake et al. To expand the Smart Growth Overlay District, the 40R district in town, to cover the Pepin School property. Pepin's the big one. Yeah, okay. There was a presentation to, what was the meeting I attended last week, y'all? It was a joint ordinance committee and planning board meeting last week, and I attended that for a portion of it. Tom, you were also there.
Yes,
Would you like to say more?
No, other than I stayed for 30 minutes after you, and it got way into the weeds, and it was time for me to get off after an hour.
Yeah, okay,
but
good.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. So the next hearing for that is January 25th, and then it'll end up in front of the full city council, which will be another good opportunity for members of EDIC to show up and speak in favor of that. And I will just email all of you the message that he sent, because he's including the link to the meeting where they got through the plans. I'll see if I can find the timestamp where things get more interesting. I don't know. And he does say that regarding vacant storefronts, he's been trying to respond to some more questions from Emily at the Gazette. She's still working on her article. So that is an update from Jeff Bagg. Is there anything in particular that we would like Jeff to talk about, cross fingers, at the January 18th meeting, 2022? Do we want to press him on anything in particular?
I'm curious if to hear what kind of feedback was gotten from that event, Gwen, that you and I went to, where we walked around the Ferry Street district, talked about the infrastructure over there.
Yeah.
I think that was really interesting.
Yep.
I'm glad they put a big public focus on it. It was a good turnout, and I'm curious to see what kind of feedback they received.
Okay. Paul, do you want to share with folks how that went in the first place?
Sure. So we had it was like an outdoor kind of touring group I think we have brought in some outside consultants, and there were a lot of people from City Hall there. Jeff was there, the mayor was there, and basically we had broken off into, I think, 3 different walking groups to kind of walk around that area, like in the Pleasant Street to Ferry Street kind of neighborhood, and look at some of the public infrastructure. There's some concern about that intersection on Ferry Street where people, especially if they're trying to turn left, it's a nightmare.
The Parsons Street one?
Yeah, exactly there. And even there's another street too that also, it's a much less trafficked street, but that is like a block away from that, which closer to the mills, which is like, it's also blind to get out there. And so, and a lot of the roads in that area just are really in rough shape. They're uneven. They've got, huge potholes or just areas that are just been destroyed from years, or, and some of it is on the side of like a very steep slope that goes down into the river, and a lot of rain washes that street out, and it's supposed to be a 2-way, but it's like, looks like it's a 1-way. And it's just one of those areas. Oh, we had people from the DPW there too, who were talking about the challenges and trying to maintain that, and how you can't really do quick fixes to it. It requires, whole structural repair, and that, like, because it's such a low traffic area, they just don't have the justification to put money into it, in some cases, or it's a balancing act, So they were looking for kind of feedback and kind of different ideas. How, if we were going to redo some of the roads in that area, could we make things narrower? And then there's also some public spaces there, like the space behind the old Parsons Street School, which is, still kind of a blank canvas right now if we wanted to do something on that space. And some people had ideas about putting like at least in the group I was in, putting like a gazebo out there or having benches people could like picnic. DPW also noted that they use that area to put a lot of snow in the winter, so it is being used in that capacity. And there's also a little park area in the front of the Parsons Street School, kind of the left. Well, I shouldn't say park, it's like a parking lot, I think, or maybe they want it to become a parking lot. It's where our group met, Gwen.
It's a park, I think. It's sort of, it's a green space with very little boundary around.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity as well. Like, how could that be used differently or better? It's just such a little spot, but it's in an important place. And so I thought it was an interesting thing to go do. There's a lot of challenges in that area from an infrastructure perspective, though, there's no question.
Yeah, so they talked about how they don't know a lot about the underground infrastructure there. All those pipes and stuff are 100 years old or more, and the city just genuinely has no real map of what it looks like under those roads. And so they've started doing some cool tests involving dropping bits of smoke through pipes into the, oh man, it sounded cool. And they were basically doing like a needs assessment, what's working well, what's not working well in the new city area, where are the hot spots you see for kids, for traffic, what are the main challenges. So it was a really neat thing to have residents of that area come out and talk about the ways that they see life happening in that space and what would make it easier from the perspective of the city. How do we support intentional grant seeking so that we can do something that is year-round a lovely way to use that parcel behind Parsons School, for example? And what are the ways that we could make it more easily walkable? One of the main things that came up in the group I was in was there are no sidewalk cutouts, and there are plenty of people in the area that use wheelchairs. And so for them to go outside requires them to be in the street because you can't get onto the sidewalks. So that was interesting and useful, and I loved it. I thought it was great. So in coordination, was it Ty and Bob that they're working with? I can't remember.
Usually is.
Usually is? Yeah. So the group that they were working with was they had maps out and they had people interacting with those with markers and sticky notes and saying, what have you noticed here? What would you, in your wildest dreams, what would you envision using this space for? Where's a hotspot that's not great? Where's a crosswalk needed? That sort of thing. And they did a survey afterward. They had paper versions. The digital survey is available on the Easthampton website. So if you experience New City, or if you drive through there and you have your own thoughts, you can still, I think, submit feedback maybe. So I thought that was neat. So that's what Paul's saying when we'd like to get more input from Jeff about whatever feedback they have received regarding the New City walkabout. It was really cool. That's all I have from the planning department perspective.
Yes. While we're picking Jeff's brain next month, I'd love to know if there's any updates on the Cottage Street development that is proposed for the gas station.
Great idea.
Former gas station.
Yep.
Tom, I could tell you that they have purchased that building that used to have all the arcade games in it, the old Harley shop.
Yep.
And they're working on that. They painted the outside. So I think the plan is to move the liquor store there.
Correct.
And then once that's done, maybe there's construction. But that's kind of been looking with, like, there are people over there working there daily. So I think that's the plan. Once the liquor store is done, then there'll be movement, I guess.
Right. I knew that part of the plan, Casey. I just wasn't sure. I mean, I believe when Naresh Patel got zoning board approval, planning board approval, it was like a 2-year window, and he might be coming up close to that. I'm sure he knows, but I guess I just thought he would have been in the ground by now.
Yeah, so we can ask.
What have you, but
Okay.
I just want to make sure it hasn't fallen by the wayside.
No, I don't think so. I think there's movement on it.
Okay, good.
So, y'all, it's the last meeting of December 2021, and we achieved some cool stuff this year that we intentionally set out to do. And I'm very proud of all of us. I think it was really cool. I want to celebrate each and every one of you who showed up to meetings, sometimes when you were in a car, sometimes when you were on vacation, sometimes when you were massively stressed, sometimes when you were very ill. You have done wonderful things to be part of this volunteer group, and I thank you for that service. And we got a vacant storefront ordinance moved onto the ordinance committee. It's really freaking cool. I'm so impressed. We did something valuable, and I think that we're going to be able to see that through. I think that's really neat. I would like, well, are there any other wins that we should explicitly celebrate for 2021? Pat ourselves on the back for anything. Can't hear you, Cassie Eckhoff.
Blah, blah, blah. Did we win ADUs in 2021? Or was that 2020?
I don't remember, but we did. We got that by right, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of. When we did our voting or roundtable voting, when we were deciding what our priorities would be, was that January?
Yeah.
Because it was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Time flies when we're having fun, Chris.
What a year. Anything else we should celebrate?
Thank you for your leadership, Gwen.
Yes,
Oh, hey, you're welcome.
definitely, Gwen.
Yes.
Someday I'm going to learn when you're supposed to approve meeting minutes.
I got to tell you, for many years, my wife has been saying, "What do you guys do? You know, you don't accomplish anything." But she's not saying that now. She's actually saying, "Great group, and we're getting a lot of good stuff done." So, a lot of that is your doing, Gwen, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. I'm happy to be part of this for exactly that reason.
You know what else we did this year? We made
What?
decisions. We made decisions not to pursue things or to pursue things. And sometimes just making a decision is the hardest part of this kind of work.
It's true. That's true. So we did also come up with a plan and a strategy. I mean, we haven't really used it yet, but we know now how we could relay to the public when there's something cool from EDIC. We have figured that out, I don't think that right now we're planning a social media plan, but we know that there is an existing structure for us to get information pushed out to people related to EDIC's work, and I think that's neat too. Also, I will say that signing up for the reminders of city meeting agendas and minutes has changed everything I know about the city. Maybe it's been around a long time and I just needed a reminder that that existed, but I know a lot now about what's happening. And watch city meetings while I make dinner. So that's...
Gwen, I don't know that our group could single-handedly take credit for this or not, because it's been a long time in the works, but several years ago, we identified housing as a major component of economic development. And today, I think it's safe to say that that's a top priority for the city as a whole. Whether it's affordable housing, whether it's conventional market rate housing, from the mayor to the planning department, all the way through city government, housing is a top priority right now. And we had made that a priority of ours, and we had pushed it here and there with Jeff, but I'm just happy to see that it's a priority now. It seems to be the top of the list of everybody's priorities.
I think that's right. I think that EDIC's support behind everything that the Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership was doing, as well as the planning department, to figure out how do we know really what's happening right now in our city and how equitable that is and how accessible is this city even to people of varying socioeconomic classes is really invaluable stuff and has set us up really well to make strong strategic decisions moving forward. Like the Smart Growth Overlay District proposal to expand that district to cover the Pepin lot is intentionally so that we could write an RFR that says we would really like to see affordable housing happen in the Pepin lot. That would be amazing. It allows us to have that option, which is really cool. I love that. That's great, Tom. Thanks. Anything else we should celebrate? Okay. My last thing to be grateful for is the service of Casey Douglas on the Economic Development Industrial Commission of Easthampton. Today is his last meeting with us as a member. And I am sad to see him go. And also, you know when our meetings are, public speak is available for you largely.
Yep.
So, Casey, any final words?
No, just like they were saying, your leadership is really good. The group was not focused. We didn't feel like we had the power to do things, and I think you guys have looked at Jeff and the administration as far as a good ear. And that there's so much about grant writing to get studies, to get information, to get things done, and the city just now checks so many boxes for funding because we have all the things that this state is looking for. And that's what Jeff and Nicole are just very focused on is, fixing the infrastructure and making this a nicer, greener place. And it's sort of like you guys being the eye on the focus of the economy and how it affects the community in a whole is just really important. I think it's you're going to do fun things. You'd be surprised. I don't know what's going to come your way, but you know what I mean? Making decisions. You'll be making decisions, and there are things to be decided upon. That's the exciting thing. Before we were a sleepy little town. Now there's a lot of decisions to make. People want to be here. So how do we control the growth? I think it's you guys, listening, go to meetings. So.
Cool. Well, Casey, it's been great having you be part of this. And if you have, I urge your business owning colleagues to submit a letter to be appointed because we could use DOS.
Yeah, it's tough on business owners these days. You know what I mean? It's been a whirlwind. It's different from season to season. And we're going to lockdown mode. I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to go food only. It's going to be a rough winter.
Yeah.
Laura works at the hospital. We kind of know what's going on, and it's sort of lockdown is what we're going back to. I got my booster today. It's just going to be this ongoing thing. And for her safety, for my safety, for everybody's wellness, we're just gonna, have a quiet indoor winners, with lots to go food. So that's what we're doing.
Well, I wish you Godspeed with that. And I assume that we will once in a while see you.
Oh, yeah.
Hope so.
At these meetings and elsewhere.
Yes.
So on your point, Casey, I'm going to use this as my transition paragraph because I've been paying such close attention to the Board of Public Works meetings, which are fascinating. I learned that there are robust conversations happening around, which we already knew, water and sewer infrastructure in the city. If you read the water report like I do annually, you know that this is true. And they are starting to talk about having a public education campaign or a public input campaign, probably a little of both, a dialogue, to talk about what it takes to create an infrastructure support system in the form of money. Like, how do we make paying for water and sewer equitable in the city? How do we take away this, I think, a really traditional way of saying, okay, everybody, you all pay this same rate, regardless of whether there's stormwater stuff happening near you, whether, like, how much water, all that stuff. So I think that I would like to propose that as one of the ways that we might get involved in things that the Board of Public Works is thinking about by, I'm not sure how, but I think I'd like to invite some member of the BPW to join one of our early 2022 meetings and talk with us about ways they think that we might be able to support that. Because I think that that's pretty darn important to support the infrastructure side of things and think about, because we've spent so much time thinking about affordable housing and the housing stock, what does it mean to coordinate that with water and stormwater and the sewer system? It's a big dang deal. So that's my first idea for 2022. What other things have been on your mind that we might be able to attend to in this coming year?
I think continuing on with the storefront thing, it's key. We've got some really good momentum there. And, staying involved with the wayfinding too, because both of those things affect the economic health of Easthampton. In terms of new stuff, I'm not sure.
And to that note, Josh.
Do you have any particular thoughts, Josh, on what you...
Oops.
No.
Well, Josh, the note that I was going to say is you guys got to be focused on these things to have meetings take place. Otherwise, if nobody's focused on it, things just get dragged out. You know what I mean? It's sort of like this Wayfair thing is something I was talking about a long time ago with the public arts, with ECA, about the whole design concept. And that was, Mo was around for that for a while. That was 4 years ago or something. Yeah. So if nobody's paying attention, things just get dropped and dragged along. So, the storefront thing could get, done in a year and a half because no one's paying attention, or it could get resolved within, 9 months and, be part of the success, So it's just, it's another thing that sort of, on one hand, is out of our hands, but on the other hand, if no one's paying attention, it will go nowhere.
Yeah, thank you. Good point. Very good point. Gwen, you're back.
Hi, I don't know what happened. What did I miss?
Casey was stressing the importance of us meeting regularly, keeping the public involved, knowing that what we're doing, making them always aware of what we're doing so that we don't lose interest. Did I paraphrase that decently, Casey?
No. What I was saying, for you guys to be the ones that push this on the agendas for city council, for the ordinance committee, for the planning department, they'll make it, a third tier item that'll get bumped month after month if you guys aren't there to talk about moving along. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you've done all this really good work. It may lose momentum because you feel like it's out of your hands. You have to make sure that it's on the planning board's agenda and it's on the city council's agenda, and it doesn't just get bypassed with this, multiple other things that they have to deal with.
Thank you for correcting that.
I'm just talking off the top of my head. Was there ever compiled in Easthampton or otherwise a kind of evidence-based practices for success during the pandemic that we could distribute? Again, I personally am feeling very glum today about where we are and where we're going. And I'm wondering if it would be worth it to kind of, hey, this is what worked last time around. If this is where we're going, keep this in mind, that kind of thing. Just a thought. Especially if we can grab something off the shelf.
I don't know of one.
Paul. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Casey.
No, I mean, I was just saying that I've got a radio campaign starting January 1st saying that we're doing takeout only. And so that's my message. And I've got my message out there. So that's the thing is, yeah, Cassie, it would be nice for us to say something that might be right. We're going through this again, but now at the end of this, we'll have the pills, the things will be better this time around. Just patience, because people's mental health these days are just really tough. You know, so if we could affirm them that that won't be that long, and spring will be around the corner, but just one more season to say that effing COVID still is around.
My mental health is just fine.
Good.
Oh boy. Okay.
Paul, is there? You're still chair of Municipal Fiber, right?
Yes.
Is that committee still active?
What's that?
Is that committee still active, or are you guys done? Okay.
It's kind of in limbo.
I think it was actually dissolved.
I wasn't officially dissolved.
Yeah, I watched the appointment committee, and they were basically saying that it should have been an ad hoc committee that resolved at the end of the study, and that's what you guys did. You guys put together the study, and then there was no other elements that you guys had chose. You know what I mean? So it was dissolved.
Yeah. So at the end of what we did, I was asked not to dissolve it immediately when we finished our report, just in case they wanted us to do some sort of addendum or follow-up, but they didn't really need that. And so, so it sounds like it finally is dissolved. So I guess, no, it's no longer active. We weren't meeting or anything anymore. If the city council does form the municipal light plant and go through that, there will be a new, there will be like a municipal light board or something like that, which will kind of take the place of the advisory committee.
Okay, I mean, I guess the only reason I was asking is maybe it would be good for EDIC to try to offer our hand in helping shepherd that through if there's anything we can do. Maybe there's nothing we can do, but
potentially have it on your agenda on a semi-rotating basis, just to say somebody's keeping an eye that this is not falling off the radar. All that good work that Paul had done with that crew, that doesn't just be like, oh, and then we forgot about this because housing is issued the schools or something else, that it's sort of like, no, just throw it on the agenda every once in a while and say, no, it's in the hands of the right people to do the right thing.
How do we, we created the possibility for that to exist, but it's been tabled. Who will decide if that ever comes back for discussion?
The city council and the mayor, I imagine.
I don't
So if we put a bug in someone's ear, they might take it there?
Yeah, we can bring it up and, make some sound about it and get some attention to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with the new city council coming in, I think there's an opportunity to bring ideas to them and get momentum there. I think that nobody's against it for sure.
Again, I think it ties into grant funding, that if it could be piggybacked with some other element, like they're ripping up the streets in New City due to this thing, that the fiber optics get laid, or, I think that it's all about financing to get anything done. And if there's grant money to be had with a tie-in of, so that's the way I would see that it gets some momentum.
It's true. Like, they're tearing up streets and they're putting any kind of infrastructure in. Like, the cost to add in the line of fiber is so minimal. Yeah. But if you have to do the fiber all by itself, then it's a lot.
Mo, this reminds me that it's this coming summer, I think, 2022, when we start the pretty major road reconstruction on Union Street, et cetera. Is that correct?
I believe so.
So is the chamber already planning something in support of the businesses on those strips? Is there something that EDIC should do to support that kind of preparing and getting the word out that those businesses are going to be open, et cetera?
Yeah. So once the project really starts to kick off, Jeff and I have been talking about this quite a bit and quite often about the chamber aiding in getting information out and kind of being the voice or liaison. Hey, by the way, if you shut this alleyway down, XYZ is not going to get their this or that, that sort of stuff. And maybe none of that will happen, but, and then also having, what's the word? Reliable information, right? To get out. So it's not just like hearsay. There's not, oh, well, I heard this over here and I heard this over there, so that we're all working in unison with one voice, and we're putting out as much and of information and as correct as it can possibly be, and timely. Okay. So that might be weekly reports, that might be information like sort of blast or whatever, that we haven't formed that yet. But yeah, we've been talking about that, and Jeff finds great value in that. So, awesome. If the EDIC wanted to, once, we put that together and we push that out, and then the EDIC could be pushing that out as well somewhere. I don't know where. But.
Yeah. All right. So that's a place, like, we can amplify that at regular meetings. And that can also be maybe one of the things that we put in whatever we would have sent out from the city anyway.
Exactly. That would be perfect, actually, because the broader the broadcast, the better.
So it sounds like it falls into that whole parking situation, that if there could be clarification from what the bank would allow people to park in, or at nighttime if other places are not available. So it seems like that might be EDI's helpful thing, is if you use a collective hive of these other businesses, they can figure out how to share routes or something like that, or just, what I mean? I think that the Cottage Street people really suffered. Their businesses really suffered during that, and they're so singular, where we've got the bypasses on Union Street. So it's more like an educational for where employees can park or something, some way to help parking or something like that. There's something that EDIC can look at, because of like what.
Yeah, I think that all falls under the umbrella of communicating as much information as you can during this whole process. So while this is going on, remember to consider parking over here, or whatever it may be. So it might not be just parking; it might be a collection of things that come up. Yeah. And so it all falls underneath that umbrella.
So we were able to get signs put up at that school over there.
Maple.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Maple, right?
Yeah, Maple. That said people could park over there, and I've been there a few weekends and I saw people parking there, so it was effective.
Yeah, and unlike the Cottage Street reconstruction, it's my understanding that Union Street will be a 2 construction season project, meaning it's a long haul here. And maybe one of the benefits here is that, Paul mentioned the schools. Well, Center and Pepin will be vacated next September. Yeah. So it's real possible that could open up some parking. Pepin's not that far. Center School's not that far. Is there a way to potentially open up the playground at Center School for parking, so people could park there and walk to the various shops on Cottage Street, on Union Street?
Good idea.
Good idea.
Yep. So we have some creative thinking to support as that project moves ahead. That's cool. All right.
And Gwen, one last thing in my mind is Jeff brought it up at the beginning of 21, and we want to keep it on our radar screen that we keep this group, make sure this group is aware when potential development, whether it's business or housing or whatever, is coming to the planning board, and there may be a large outcry, negative outcry, but yet it might be a viable project that needs support. Those are the kinds of meetings we should be prepared to show up at and voice support in the face of a lot of negative.
Yep. So that is one of the merits of getting those reminders about agendas and stuff from all of those committees that are planning their meetings. So to the extent that I notice that there are housing related or interesting business ideas on there, I will forward those to you. And also, I will ask Jeff to continue to be sure to send me stuff as soon as he knows that things are starting to move through, because sometimes you want a little more notice than just like 4 business days.
A thought occurred to me, Gwen, is that maybe you could just, at these meetings, read what's on the agenda for the next planning board, just to touch base with everybody. Because now that the new website is available, I've certainly been drinking with it and more aware because of how intuitive it is. But when I see things, I find other things that I was unaware of. So, I mean, maybe that's part of your agenda, is you just have a 5-minute conversation of what's on the agendas of city council, you know, the agendas of the planning board, just to give people the heads up before it's like comes to their understanding of a situation. Like the hurry scurry I knew about months ago. You know, so it's like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, it's easily shareable information. I just think that if it was all a quick scroll, then we'd be more informed.
It's a good idea. Other ideas for 2022?
I wonder if we should really try to move forward on doing a newsletter. I think we just talked about a number of things that we could put like a quarterly or even just a single thing out that would cover, you know, Board of Public Works, the new city project, you know, COVID resurgence issues, the Union Street project upcoming. It'd be pretty, you know, I mean, I don't know if we do want to do that, but
sounds like
we could send out a little blast.
Oh gosh, maybe.
We could do that. Are there particular, so you listed off the things that you're hearing might be worth sharing with the public. Let's see. We can draft a news blast that we ask City Hall to send out.
We could.
I thought we decided against that.
No, what we decided was when we have interesting things to say, we can design a little blurb and we can give that to City Hall to send out to
That's
people
right.
who subscribe
That's
to
right.
the regular feed that
My
comes out.
apologies,
From
yeah.
City Hall. What they didn't want us to do was go have our own EDIC email, all of that stuff. It just causes problems for the city, but we can certainly craft something that can go out from the city.
I guess I just want to say it's exciting to have a lot of things going on. It's exciting to see, you know, the things that we've talked about for years come into fruition over time, you know, and feel good about being a part of this, you know, group and having these conversations. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this group with all of you people. I'm so sad to see you going, Casey, because you're great.
We know where you live, Casey.
Exactly.
Yeah, we do.
Next meeting at Casey's house.
Well, no.
He says no. Don't tell him we're going.
No. In the springtime, when everything is through, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
For now, we're just.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe in the springtime on the Galaxy back deck.
There you go.
All right. So we have 2 minutes till 5. If there's anything else you'd like to say, feel free about 2022, about celebrating 21.
Everyone have a wonderful holiday.
Gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
happy holidays, everybody. And thank you all. To reiterate what Paul said, it's great being part of this group. Thank you all. Even you, Mo. Thank you all.
Oh, Mo, you put up
Such
with
a
a lot.
disagreeable curmudgeon, aren't I?
No, you're good, Mo.
So I will look forward to seeing you on January 18th. Tell your friends we need 2 members of EDIC. Tell your enemies. It would be useful to have, a little rivalry here and there, I suppose. I don't really look forward to mediating that, but anyway, we can. So I will. If we want to send out a little celebration of 2021 from EDIC, we can do that. I think. Don't really know how we do that without doing it in a meeting, unless we just task one person with writing up a blurb and then send it to me, and I will send it to City Hall to send out.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Well, Paul.
All right, folks. No worries. We'll see what I come up with.
You like being voluntold there, St. Pierre?
Sure.
Okay, so if you want to try that, that'd be great. Cool.
Nothing major, just like what you rattled off there, Paul.
Yeah. Well.
All right, friends. Thank you so much for your time today and all year. I loved seeing you. Have a wonderful rest of 2021. I'll see you in the new year.
Thank you.
Later, folks.
Thank you again, Casey.
Take care, Casey.
Bye.
Yeah, Casey.